Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, we seen the overtime loss to the Cleveland Browns Sunday. It was a heartbreaker. It was 4th and 10, as you know. They scored a tying touchdown, and in the last minute of the game, we had some problems with our coaching time management and coaching decisions, and the game ran out. Overtime period, we couldn't get the ball moved, and they got the ball, and Carlton Davis slipped down coverage, and their receiver took it to the 5-yard line and on into the end zone and won the game. Again, we were ahead of the game. We've gotten behind, but we got up and tied the game and then got ahead in the game. We were ahead in the game comfortably into the fourth quarter when the bottom fell out. Our offense did not function properly again, as it hasn't all year long. The running game, we had some runs by Rachaad White. He went over 120 yards on the ground, but it wasn't consistent. It was the same old Byron Leftwich run offense. It's bland, pitiful. And Buck Nation, Cowboy Nation, follow me on this. First snap, run. Second snap, 7-yard curl route. Third play, a little bit longer pass. Brady either shanking it or overthrowing the receiver or the receiver missing it. Punt. There's the prescription of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. This is Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles, the head coach, in charge. Again, we lost the game. We went to 5-6. We played a tough game. We were competitive in the game and ahead in the game, but at the end of the day, you win or you lose, and we lost. In an overtime debacle with Coach Bowles' time management, his problem in punting on 4th and 2. There was 2 or 3 instances we all know about questioning his decisions, calling him out by name. No ambiguity in it. We have some issues with the coaching. We have some issues with the players, their effort, the scheme, how they're used, what's going on offensively. It's hard to imagine, as Buck fans, 2 years ago a World Championship team and a 13-win team last year with a playoff win, to be so inept at the offense. This offense is just is horrid to watch. It really is. It's a terrible offense. And you got to go back and say, well, did you change the quarterback? Do you got the same receivers? What's the difference? Well, we've said it on this show before, and we'll say it one more time. A head coach. A head coach is the difference. So, basically, we lost the game. It was a good game. It was competitive. We should have scored more points, but we were in the game. It wasn't if we were blown out, and we did score 17, but that wasn't nearly enough with Cleveland coming back on that 4th and 10, scoring the touchdown, and then taking the win in overtime. So, it's a 5-6 team limping back to Raymond James Stadium to play the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football this week in Raymond James Stadium, and it's going to be the battle of 2 division rivals that don't like each other personally and are going to play hard ball, because the New Orleans Saints are only 1 game behind us, and we're leading the division. So you can see what it is. It's 5-6 Bucks against 4-7 Saints. So it's going to be a tough match. Cameron Jordan's going to be back for the Saints. We lost Trifton Worst, our right tackle, in the game in overtime against Cleveland. He's out for a month. Terrible loss. The best offensive player on the line that we have is out. We're going to have Josh Wells taking over the tackle position against the Saints. I don't know about Leonard Fournette, whether he'll be ready to go. He might be ready to go by next Monday. Rachaad White's okay. Godwin's looked good in this game against Cleveland, though we lost. Mike Evans can continue not to be on the same sync with Tom Brady on catching the passes. So it's a tale of ineptitude in every aspect of a team. And then when the coach highlights that by making these decisions that everyone can see he made, that cost the team even worse. So it's a bad situation that we're in, fellow Bucs supporters. And let's get out there and support the Bucs against the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football this Monday night in a very pivotal game, because after the game against the Saints and Raymond James, we have to fly out to Levi Stadium and play the San Francisco 49ers. So a lot of other action this week. The Miami Dolphins continued their winning ways. The New York Jets with Mike White, as their quarterback, came back and won a big game, played tremendously well, scored a lot of touchdowns, put Zach Wilson on the bench, probably permanently. There's a lot of good, interesting games. Dallas won their game. Kansas City beat the Rams. It was a competitive weekend. Some of the better teams continue to go and elevate themselves closer to getting ready to make a run in the playoffs, just not make it to the playoffs. And other teams were fighting for recognition, like the Washington Commanders, who beat the Atlanta Falcons. So we got a little break there where the Falcons were beaten. So a lot of competitive action going on this weekend. The Dolphins will play the 49ers this weekend. We're playing the Saints. There's other games. Stay tuned to it. It's very competitive, and it's worth watching, and we can follow what's going on with some of these higher echelon teams that are really contenders. So continue, and we'll continue to keep you posted. On a side note, Adonica Sue played against the Packers the other night, had four tackles and 1 sack. That's Adonica Sue. We always want to bring that back up. He played for the Eagles the other night against the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. So now we're going to go to the college rankings. After the rivalry games, Ohio State getting beat by Michigan, Florida State beating the University of Florida. We had UCF beat the University of South Florida Bulls. And the final 4 teams ranking before the conference championships this weekend to go to the Super Bowl of college football are the Georgia Bulldogs, the Michigan Wolverines, the TCU Horned Frogs, and the USC Trojans. Those are the 4 teams now going into the championship weekend this weekend now. And then the winners, if they're still remaining, those 4 teams will play 2 games, each team, two teams, and those winners will play for the national championship. So they'll go into the playoffs, those 4 teams. So keep watching the college football. This weekend's very interesting. Great game between the Gators and the Seminoles. For both Gators and Seminole fans here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy, we love all our Florida teams. And even though the Gators lost by points, they didn't lose by effort, and neither did the Seminoles. It was an outstanding game. There was no loser in that game. It was a wonderful game. I know there's a lot of animosity between the 2 colleges, but between me and you, it was good Florida football at its best. It really, really was. It was a great game. Seminoles came out ahead this year. So we're going to move on now to the questions for tonight's show. And the first question is from Tom in Avon Park. And Tom wanted to know what I thought about Coach Todd Bowles and his decisions he made against the Cleveland Browns, that virtually some of the decisions kind of were instrumental in the outcome, so to speak. And Tom, I think Coach Bowles means well. He's a fine human being. He's been a great coach as a defensive coordinator. But he was 24-46 as a head coach of the New York Jets. He is 5-6 with the Bucks. I think it's a little bit more than he can put all together as a head coach. I don't want to disparage the man, but the fact is 13-4 2 years ago, 13-4 last year. Same quarterback, same receivers, mostly same players. There are a great loss of players. We went over that before, but 5-6, really the worst offense the Bucks have ever had on the ground. The 27th out of the 32 teams in total offense, 29th out of 32 teams in total scoring. Now, you're following my drift at these numbers that are real high because they shouldn't be. They should be first in scoring, first in defense, or winning the top 5. This is a team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, entering this season, that the Las Vegas book at Westgate, Vegas, picked to be in the Super Bowl. They have the money. Okay, everybody talks about the money. This is the money. This is the gambling line. The Bucks aren't going to be 13-4 because they're 5-6 and only 6 games to go. They run the table, they'll only be 11-6. So what I'm saying to you, the expectations of where they were supposed to be to where they have fallen have been great. And I think a lot of it to do with Todd Bowles. He's just not a head coach, and I pray we win. I pray he wins the Super Bowl and keeps his job. Thank you for your question, Tom. The next question is from Beverly, and Beverly wanted to know what I thought about America's victory against Iran in the World Cup. And it's soccer, and I love soccer to a certain extent. I love being patriotic and supporting the United States, but I just have not followed the World Cup close enough. I know we're in the round of 16 against the Netherlands on Saturday. I know we tied Wales, we tied England, and we beat Iran. That's about as good as I can give you on the World Cup soccer, other than we're in the final 16, and we're going to be playing Netherlands Saturday. Thank you for your question. And the next question is from Janice, and Janice is from Frostproof, and she wanted to know about the coach Brandon Staley of the Chargers and Doug Peterson of the Jaguars going for 2-point conversions to win their game, and how that was different from Todd Bowles. Well, Todd Bowles didn't go for it on 4th and 2. He has these three options: go for it, kick a field goal, or punt it. He punts it. It goes in the end zone, comes out at the 25. Okay, he nets 10 yards. So I believe Bruce Arians would have went for it. They called him Bruce Risk It Biscuit Arians. Sure, he'd have went for it. If he hadn't went for it for 2 yards, he'd have kicked the field goal at it. But that's what I think Bruce Arians would have done. Todd, you asked about Brandon Staley with the Chargers. He went for a 2-point conversion. He could have kicked an extra point to tie it, but he went for 2 and he won it. Doug Peterson, the Jaguar coach this week, did the same thing. He could have kicked an extra point to tie it or go for 2 and win it. Both Staley and Peterson this week, Jaguars Chargers. No time on the clock. Kick an extra point, tie. Go for the 2, win. Both went for the win, both won. That's the difference in NFL coaches. And that'll be the tale of what haunts them. And God bless you for your question. Thank you for your support. Thank you for these questions. DJX, what you got for me tonight?
Well, Cowboy, you know how we do it. Let's get right off into it, buddy. All right. Jalen Kitna, son of former NFL John Kitna, arrested for possession of child pornography. What you think about that?
Yeah, Kitna, the quarterback of the Bengals' son, I watched him come in that Florida game against Florida State the other night because the quarterback, Richardson of the Gators, was shook up and he had to go out for 3 or 4 plays. They brought Kitna off the bench. Yeah. This kid we're talking about here, Kitna, the quarterback of the Bengals' son, he's been arrested for child pornography. I don't know any more, much more about that, but certainly ends his career with the Gators. And pretty much. And it's just a shame.
Yeah, they getting canceled all over for this stupid stuff they out here doing, man. I don't know what's going on with them, but they got to get their mind into the sports.
Well, you can't do nothing like that. I don't know the circumstances of it, though. I don't know much more about it. I know that the Gators will certainly probably suspend his his scholarship, I would imagine.
Right. Something like that. All right. Suddenly, the Chiefs' 2022 expectations are back to Super Bowl or bust. Is it a bust?
I think they're going to make it. They're going to give it a run. I think the 3 best teams in the AFC are the Chiefs, number 1. Everybody's going to be leery of this number 2, but I still have Buffalo number 2. But here's the surprise at number 3 with the AFC, the Miami Dolphins. Okay, so I think their expectations of Chiefs is to go to the Super Bowl, and they should well have them. The Bucs were when they started the season. I don't know about now. I guess they can tell the press that they have them, but we all kind of have seen what has happened in Tampa, and it don't look good. But the Chiefs, yes, they have expectations, and they well should have them.
Yeah, they do. They one of them teams.
They're well should have.
One of the 3.
Yes, sir, they do.
Okay, Cincinnati Reds. Danny Graves, new Reds Hall of Famer. What you think?
I think he deserves it. He's been up for the Hall of Fame for the Reds for quite a few years, and it's time that I think it was his last ballot, so he got in there, so he should have.
All right. It's looking like there's not going to be a Super Bowl for the Bucs. What you think?
I pray that we see a Super Bowl with Tom Brady his last year, and it disheartens me to see Jason Light let this opportunity go. I think when Ryan Jensen was injured, he should have went out and got a center like J.C. Trotter or some other veteran centers and put Hainsey as a guard and try to solidify a better offensive line to give Mr. Brady the feel that he could be able to win. But when I say that, what disheartens me even more is now that I've learned that Byron Leftwich doesn't have the capability to run the offense no matter who you got.
Right.
He's got players out there now with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and Julio Jones and Leonard Fournette. He's got players. He's got better players than most teams that are a lot better than the Bucs. But you know what? They don't have Byron Leftwich being an offensive coordinator. You know what? They don't have Todd Bowles being the head coach. I don't believe in the history of me being a Bucs fan. And I had questions sometime with Lehman Bennett and Greg Schiano and other coaches we've had, to think that the coach himself is incompetent. And I think that's all I want to say about that as we are right now, where we are right now.
All right. Well, I know you don't want to hear it like this, but do you think we should switch our role, maybe roll with the Dolphins?
Nah, I'm always a Bucs fan and always will be.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to switch from my Buccaneers. I love them since '76, and I'll die with that helmet in my coffin. So I'm not going anywhere. But now, with that being said, you Miami fans, if the Bucs are eliminated or don't make the playoffs, and the Dolphins were to make the playoffs, I certainly would be pulling for the Dolphins, and there's no question about that.
Right on.
100% behind the Bucs, the Dolphins.
Right on.
That's just how I roll. If it ain't Jacksonville, if it ain't the Bucs, it's the Dolphins.
That's what I wanted to hear. All right. So, who's going? 49ers, Chiefs, Dolphins. That's them three. Is we narrowing it down to two? Or we going to keep the three for right now?
Well, I'd keep the three for about 2 more weeks and maybe add Philadelphia in there. Add them as a fourth team. Philadelphia Eagles. Put them in the running. And them are your 4 teams. And then you got 2 that's way back behind those 4. They the Cowboys and the Bills. They like in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we could have 6. Okay, but we got real 4 now. We went to the Eagles now. All you Eagle fans, we're talking to Cowboy. We put them in you in the 4. Okay, but the other 2 in the back now. Don't feel bad, you Cowboy and Cowboy fans and Buffalo Bill fans back there, because you're back there. I mean, because they're the 6 best teams of all the football right there.
Okay. And we'll leave them 2 on the back burner.
They're on the back burner. We got 4 in ours. We got the Dolphins, and we got the 49ers, and we got the Eagles.
We got the Eagles in there now. So we got 4.
Yeah, we got 4.
We came from 5. We back up to 4.
Yeah, we got 4.
All right. Former Bucs quarterback. I'm going to leave it off right here. Trent Dilfer, yeah.
Yeah.
Named head coach, UAB.
Trent Dilfer would be a good coach at University of Alabama, Birmingham. He's a good quarterback. He's our quarterback. He didn't make it real well here. We went to the playoffs with him one time. He was a 500 quarterback for Fresno State. He went on to play with the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis, and they went to Tampa Stadium after we let him go, and they won their Super Bowl in our stadium, so that the fans of Tampa could see the guy that they had let go that went to Baltimore and won the Super Bowl. And then a lot of people say, hey, Cowboy, he didn't do anything to win it. The defense won it all for him. I'm going to say this. He was at the ring ceremony. He was the winning quarterback of the winning team. That's all that, for Dilfer. So, yes, University of Alabama, Birmingham, small school, good school, smart guy, good offensive mind, very pleasant guy, good temperament. People have always liked him. Kind of a funny guy that you could go out and hang out with. He'd be good there.
All right, sound like a stand-up guy. I'm going to leave it off right there, guys.
God bless you,
God
DJX.
bless you, too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to continue to support us, continue to share, continue to leave your comments, get your comments and your game picks in this week. And until next time, God bless you, Cowboy out.